What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Echoes of Elsewhere, the podcast where forgotten places still have stories to tell. But today, we are flipping the script. Well, I am anyway. I have got a very special guest joining me, someone who's seen the behind-the-scenes chaos of my adventures, the frantic late-night photo edits, the just one more spot detours, and all the weird, wild, and wonderful things that come with loving someone who is obsessed with abandoned places like I am. My girlfriend Meredith joins me on this episode, and we're talking about what it's really like being the partner of an urban explorer, her takes on tagging along, and her honest reactions to my sometimes ridiculous antics. So buckle up, ignore the no trespassing signs, and let's get into it. Okay, here we go. We'll just start. We'll just fire away. Fire away, fire away.
Off to a good start.
I'm done. Okay.
You snorted.
Okay. First question is, how much did you know about urbex before I started exploring?
Nothing.
For real?
I mean, I guess I didn't really know what it was called. Or
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't go on YouTube and watch videos, so I, maybe very vaguely knew about it, but nothing like I do now.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Well, what was your first reaction when I started exploring?
Probably a lot of discomfort at the fact that I was going to have to tag along with you.
Not forcing you.
Well, I can't let you go alone, and you were so excited. Oh my God.
But, okay, so were you like, oh, fuck, this is a terrible hobby that she's getting into?
I mean, I obviously think it's very fascinating and cool to see everyone's different way of expressing urban exploration. So I knew that you were going to be amazing, but worried for sure that another thing I've got to kind of worry about.
Yeah.
That you're doing.
Yeah. Well, that is the story of my life, I suppose. What has been the most surprising part about having a partner that explores abandoned places?
I guess getting to go along and honestly see how cool some of these places you've taken me has been. Yeah, I get anxious as hell about trespassing. This is not the way I want to break the law. This isn't my thing, but I've been surprised at some of the really, really neat places that you've taken me and some of the things that I've seen. So, yeah.
That makes sense. At least you're not freaking out the whole time, so.
A little bit inside.
Well, you do good playing it off. Has your view of urbex changed since you've gone exploring with me?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, everyone expresses themselves differently, and to see how people do videos, or really you, because I don't really look at anybody else's. But yeah, it's really interesting to see. It's so cool to find things from the 20s, that's insane. It's so cool. The old pictures and somebody's,
life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why I like it too. But you do more plundering than I do, I think.
I like to see things.
Yeah. You're more about the personal details, and I'm more about going room to room and making sure I get to see everything.
More about photographing. I'm not a photographer.
You're not even on social media.
I'm not on social media. I don't do any of this kind of stuff, but it's really cool. It really is.
Okay. I'm glad you're having fun at least, and you're not, dreading every time I'm like, let's go urbexing. What's your favorite place we've explored together?
I think the teacher's house was probably because of all, and probably the first one that we went to, Doomsday.
Okay, yeah.
Just because of all the things, all the personal, like, letters, and you're seeing dates, like I said, in the 20s and the teens, and you're seeing, like, photographs from, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But those two houses were really cool. They had a lot of books. Oh, my gosh, lots of books, and the teacher's house had like knitting or sewing stuff in every room.
Like nook and cranny.
Everywhere.
There's like 11 sewing kits.
No, seriously. And like there were sewing tables upstairs and all kinds of neat stuff though. All kinds of things you could tell from like around the world. Yeah. Pieces of art and like really, yeah. Really cool stuff.
She traveled a lot, obviously. Yeah. I thought you were going to say the mill. The Red Bank Mill.
I forgot about that place. That was kind of more of an outside explore. And I really loved that place too. Yeah. I loved looking at you and you're staring up at that water tower and I was like, holy crap, this looks like her logo. Oh yeah. That was really cool to have that experience. Like literally just be standing there and I was like, oh my God, this like kind of looks like her logo. Yeah. Where we are today. And you had just made all,
yeah, it was just like a month before or something.
Yeah, it was really neat. But that place was really cool. Just all the exposed, like all the brick and...
the old cars.
The old cars were really cool.
That was cool.
I wish we had more time there.
I know. We got to go back. I want to print pictures, some of the pictures I took, and find that dude and like show him, give them to him. And then see if he'll give us like 20 minutes this time. Instead of 10.
Have some more.
I'll give you $20 for 20 minutes. Maybe 30.
Exactly. We should probably.
Seriously, $1 a minute. That's fair to me. I can get a lot more done in 20 minutes than the 10 I did. Mm-hmm. I got a lot done in 10 minutes though. My next question was going to be what's our most memorable or funny moment exploring together, but I feel like maybe you just said that because of the logo thing. I completely forgot about that. Unless you think of something else.
A funny moment. When those people rolled up on us at the plantation house.
Holy shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I still don't know really what to think about those people because, like, they said...
I don't want to say too much, but...
Basically, long story short is we were at this one house that I call the Plantation, and if you go on my website or on my Facebook page, you'll see it posted under Plantation. But we were out there, and it's almost as if you have more fun on the outside of this property than you do.
For sure. You can spend lots of time outside.
Yeah, and there's like planes out there, which is why I called it the Plantation House. But while we were out there, and luckily when we were getting ready to leave, I assume they're a couple rolls up on us, and they're like, or not really rolls up on us, they're like rolling into the driveway, but it's like no outlet situation, so like it's one way in, one way out, and they claimed that they were there to take pictures also, and the dude was like, can I take pictures with y'all? And I was just like weirded out. And then Meredith was paying more attention to the lady than I was, and she was like, well, the lady was looking at you like you're a snack.
She totally looked Courtney up and down, and yeah, the face she gave was like she was hungry.
Maybe she was mad that her like boyfriend / husband was like, can I take pictures with y'all?
Yeah, because they were at first like, oh, sorry, we're just trying to find a place to turn around. I
lost. Know. And then they were like, "Oh, we'll take pictures."
And then we were
they
like,
flip houses. So like the story evolved into.
Yeah, it was weird. But we were like, "Oh yeah, we're just leaving. We're just here taking pictures." And they're like, "Oh, well, that's really what we're doing here. We're here to take pictures."
Yeah.
And you know.
And they had like someone on speakerphone giving them directions to the house. So the whole thing was just like an interesting situation.
It was pretty funny though.
That was pretty funny. I forgot about that. I think my most memorable explore with you was it's a toss-up between the first one, which is the Doomsday, just because like your reaction, because for those of you who have seen the Doomsday house on like YouTube or whatever and kind of understand the layout, there's more than just the house on the property, and there's this huge like, I don't even know what to... It's like a huge garage that like turned into a workshop, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, we walked up to that first and we're kind of plundering around. I was getting a feel of like taking pictures. It's the first place I like really photographed that is abandoned. So we spent a good bit of time in the little like workshop area, and the house is more close to where we parked the car, so we had to walk back toward the house, and I was like, let's go in the house. And I just remember you were like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And then as soon as I got that door open, I was like, oh shit. And then I realized it was like there was stuff, there was books, and obviously it looked like it had been gone through already. But I was already so delulu, like new into urbex. I was like, no one's done this before. And like everyone and their brother has done this house before. It turns out. But anyway, so that was
it was so cool though. Like it was really just fascinating.
We didn't dare that basement though.
It made me no. Oh my god, no. We did not go down in the basement. If you were in the house part looking down the basement steps,
it just looked like the pit of death.
Well, we didn't have like a flashlight on us at the time, I don't think. But yeah, we definitely did not dare. We did go the second time through the basement.
Yeah. Which I'd almost rather. I'd almost rather enter than in the basement than have to go in through the house and go down those steps.
It was so creepy. But I spent days thinking about that freaking house and how it, like, could have so much personal stuff in there still.
Like sentimental things.
Yeah, yes, the sentimental stuff. I don't know. It tripped me out for a while to think that things could just be left like that.
Yeah, and now I've seen that 100 times. You know, that's most houses.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
What's something funny I do during exploring?
Well, I mean, obviously, you don't get in your shot or anything like that. I try to anticipate stuff, but sometimes it's hard. Also, what is actually, now that I think about it, what is funny? Whenever I try to take a candid photo of you, you move. Or even if you haven't been, you always just move when I'm trying to, like, right when I'm, like, snapping the photo. So that's something that kind of always happens.
You gotta do what Robert does, because Robert's smart, and he'll see me doing something in a certain spot, and he's a photographer, so I think he just knows how to do this. But he would see me staying still, like going to take a picture, and he's like, when you're done, don't move. So that's a trick.
I will keep that in mind.
Per a photographer.
That's a good idea.
What's the biggest difference in how you and I approach a bando?
I mean, there's a lot of difference because you're the one that does like all the research and like all.
I'm talking about like when we get there.
I know, so you know more about it than I do.
Sometimes.
Like, well, yeah, but you've looked like at all angles on maps and stuff like that.
That's true.
Usually, I have not done any of that, so I'm going in blindly and just like if I'm driving, I'm just listening or following directions or whatever. But I don't know because I think we're both pretty cautious. Like you're excited as shit. I mean, like, you're super excited, and I'm probably like, oh my God, please let this go okay.
I wouldn't put us into dangerous.
I know.
What's the most challenging thing about dating someone who does urbex?
Obviously, I'm worried sick about you when I'm not there. I'm always like thinking of the crazy shit that could happen Because I think that you have to. You can never, not be prepared for the worst. You're not exempt from bad shit happening, obviously. Like, we know that. So, yeah, I'm super freaking worried about you. Always when you're gone.
Even when I'm with Carrie?
I mean, I worry about both of y'all. Especially now listening to your your last episode together.
We're not
It
that
didn't
bad.
make me feel better.
We're not that bad.
It didn't comfort me.
We keep each other in check.
I hope so.
Okay. We're going to play the same game that I played with Backroads, which is the who's more likely to. This is going to be fun. So, who's more likely to spot the no trespassing sign?
Me.
100%.
I'm like, oh, no trespassing. We gotta go.
And I'm like, trespassing, schmesspassing.
yeah, no.
Who's more likely to trip over something?
Me.
That might be a toss-up. Well, maybe.
No,
you are like a
it's
bull in a
me.
china
It's
shop.
me. It's me.
Who's the first to suggest leaving?
You.
You think? Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yes,
That's
when
happened twice.
Yeah, if you get a weird feeling about something, and we've been somewhere, and you're like, we gotta go. I think we should go. And I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, that has happened twice.
Yeah. And I don't question that shit. I just say, okay, let's get in the car and get the hell out of here.
Who's more likely to do something stupid?
I mean,
The hesitation is top tier.
I would say me, like,
I guess I should have been more specific because that can be any number of things.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about like being clumsy, then it's you. But
Yeah.
if we're talking about like, I don't even know what something stupid, like falling through the floor, then that's probably me.
yes, correct.
Who's more likely to get us caught?
I don't know. I think that we both are on the same page about, like, usually when we encounter people, we just walk up to them and, make ourselves
That's true.
be as, like, as transparent as possible. Like, and just be like, look, I'm just tagging along.
I'm like, I'm just taking pictures. Yeah, I guess so.
So I don't know.
And I know we're not the kind to run, like, from the
No, I'm not
police,
running.
So I feel like, I don't know if we're caught, we're caught.
Yeah.
And I guess it would probably just be, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that could get us caught unless we unawarely, like, are in front of cameras or a
We don't have any stories about going into BANDOS where a cop is parked across the street watching the whole entire time. We don't have anything like that because I'm always, like, on edge, I feel like.
I usually am. You'd think that doesn't happen to me.
Then
if two urbexers are together and pull up to the BANDOS, the excitement is that
it is too much. If I was in the car with y'all, I'd be like, you guys, there's a cop right there.
Yeah, literally. And you'd be like, these bitches were just going to straight up walk in here.
I wish that y'all had come running out of there. Like,
Well, we did at the church. We go running out of there because we heard a loud noise, and that cop was probably like, knew that wasn't going to last. Who's more likely to spot a security camera?
Oh,
I started to
I feel like me because my eyesight isn't better.
That's literally
Me, I can see.
I literally was just about to say before you said that I was writing these down. And I was like, I don't know
you
why.
already knew the answer
I
to that
shouldn't put questions about spotting anything on these because it's always going to be the other person because my eyesight is like, no, it's like in the negative.
But we've been to places before and you're like, watch out, look, there's a snake right there. And I didn't see it, so.
Oh my God, I forgot about
it was
that.
just out in the middle of nowhere, just curled up, like in the middle of the yard or something. But
yeah, I forgot about that snake. Who's more likely to climb something?
Well, you are, but I will follow you.
You'll follow me up a water tower?
I mean, probably up a water tower.
As long as it's a sturdy
If
one.
I felt comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not something
But not a nuclear cooling tower.
No, hell no. No.
And not on an airplane to
No.
jump off of.
No.
Well, balls. Who's more likely to ask for permission?
I feel like this is kind of more your, like...
I mean, in the sense of, like, encountering someone in real time. You know, like, if someone rolls up on us and we've just hit the exterior of a house and they're like, oh, I own this place, like, who's more likely to be like, can we go?
I think either one of us would both be like, hey, can we take pictures?
I think it depends on if the person approaches us first, then it's like fair game for either of us. But if it's a matter of like we're playing a game on like someone rolled up and we're still in the car and we're like, who's doing what now? I'm like, you need to get out of the car.
I feel like you're so much better like when we get approached.
You would need to do the icebreaker conversation.
I mean, I could, yeah.
Who's more likely to forget the flashlight?
Me.
I think that's both of us. There's countless times I've forgotten the flashlight.
We forget everything.
That's true.
We always forget. We always forget something.
And usually it's the most important thing that we need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like for our kid.
Yes, like the headphones at the movie theater that somehow is at a louder octave than it needs to be at all times. Who's more likely to bring snacks?
You. Both of us.
I was going to say, you don't think that's a tie?
I think that, yeah, for sure.
Who's more likely to have to pee?
You.
What? That was just today. I think that's you.
I do not like using public restrooms
We're not in public. We're out in the woods, usually.
I mean, I peed out in the woods today, but like...
That's usually the case.
That's not... normal.
That's true. That is true. I will give you that. If you have to pee, you'll hold your pee for like 8 hours.
I will. I'll hold it usually.
You're like all of us were in school.
That's not good for you.
Like I remember going a full school day without ever peeing because I'm just like, I'm not doing that here. What advice would you give someone dating an urban explorer? You're like, don't.
Don't date an urban explorer. I don't know. I think this is advice for dating anybody, and it's let them do their thing.
That's true.
Obviously, there's lots of parts about it that make me uneasy, but I also see like what comes out of it, and it's so amazing. Like, so I don't know. I'm letting you do your thing.
So that's your advice.
Let them do their thing.
That's good advice. I like that. Do you see yourself going on more explores with me?
Yeah, I mean, I am very glad that you and Carrie love to explore together and y'all have a good, system of how you do things. And when you get to the bando and y'all kind of go, you do your thing, like you go your separate way and you photograph and whatever. And I'm very grateful for that and the couple other people that
the vibe changed.
I'm very grateful for Carrie and that you have someone to go trespass with, because it's not, I'm not dying to, it's not like an adrenaline rush for me. It is so neat. It really, really is. And when it's easy, it's fun. And it's really cool. But we've been to like places that like we're literally parked on the side of a busy road and just walking into a house and yeah, and it freaked me out. Like it freaked me out. So like I know Carrie would be all gung-ho for that. Mm-hmm. Like that was, has she ever been in that house? Mm-hmm. I know that house is gone now. That was a really cool place though. I did actually really like that house a lot. A lot. But it freaked me out. Like my heart was pounding walking in and around it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But that was probably like the most exposed explore we've done as far as like having to park out in the middle of that road and stuff, I think.
The one that we dipped out early when you got like a bad feeling and we know that it's being watched or whatever. That one you were right off the road too, and there's a tree in the house. There's a giant tree fallen into the house. So nobody's living there. So
Yeah.
that made me a little uneasy too. And I guess we left there, and I bet you somebody was on their way over there.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then after that, we know that somebody went out there and had an encounter. And then I felt bad because I was the one who kind of shared the spot with them. Yeah. But I mean, I told, obviously everything is proceed with caution and at your own kind of risk and stuff like that. What would your safe word be if we're in a bando and it's time to get the fuck out? This is probably something we should have discussed.
Abort!
I thought safe words were supposed to be like discreet. I figured we would just do our seagull call that we like to do. Mine. People, that house was full of seagulls, y'all.
Oh my God.
Well, tell the audience, tell the listeners of Echoes of Elsewhere some stories about your own explorations in life.
So, I moved from Brooklyn, New York to Columbia, South Carolina when I was 9. I was born in Brooklyn, and you don't just say, "Oh, Mom, Dad, I'm going out. See ya. I'll be back later," or "I'm going to ride my bike." We were not allowed outside without parental supervision, and it's totally different than the South, for sure. So anyway, when we moved to South Carolina, I went wild.
Crazy.
I went wild, and we lived in a neighborhood that was going to be developed big time, like for miles. And all this stuff was woods still. So we took our bikes on some epic like bike rides and trails and found all kinds of stuff. Like, we explored so much of this area of Columbia. And it eventually led to going underground into the sewers. And we would be able to walk into these big manholes, or these big, like, what is it called?
Tunnels?
Yeah, they were tunnels, like
drainage.
Bigger drainage holes where you could like basically walk into. And I mean, you would be like crouched a little bit. But we would know our way around underground to where we knew like what manholes to come out of so that we weren't like in the middle of the street or something like that. But we were like kind of like behind houses and stuff like that. So we kind of knew our way around underground, which I later found out is really, really bad.
And dangerous.
And very, very, very dangerous. So that was interesting. My parents freaked the fuck out when they found out. And it was like, at some point, there might be like 4 or 5 kids coming out from a manhole. Like, we were crazy, but was it
that way? Did y'all get caught that way, or did y'all have to
probably I think that there was starting to be talk of, like the kids in the neighborhood. But I mean, it was the 90s. It was the early 90s, and we freaking like that's all we did. We played outside all day long, like in the summers and stuff like that. So we were crazy, but I was a young urban explorer. I was.
You really were.
I was.
Especially because you got real gangster with it right away, and we're like, I'm not going to urban explore on the ground.
Oh, no.
I'm going to explore underneath.
No, I know. You don't really know, obviously, as a kid, how dangerous. And now I feel like we have, like, more flash flooding than
Before.
we did
Back then.
I feel like it's more, like, prevalent. So, yeah, that's scary. Don't go in manholes. Don't go in...
No.
Don't do that. That's not good.
Leave that to the professionals.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were pretty crazy. It was fun.
Kind of crazy. I wouldn't be going underground.
I know. Well, that's the one thing you won't do.
I won't. I mean, I will. Like, that's kind of why I wanted to go into the prison plant that we couldn't get into because there's squatters there, obviously, over, downtown.
We could have totally gone in there.
I know we could have, but obviously they're squatters, so I wouldn't have. And I don't want to have
for people to come and go. Like,
yes.
in and out of there.
Yeah. And usually where that board was that we saw, that's not usually there. So you can literally just walk through that door, typically speaking. Okay. But that's how I knew someone had like blocked themselves in because the board was from the inside, not the outside. So it's like they went in and shut the door. Mm-hmm. So they were in there as we were outside. That's why I didn't want to go in. But I do know that through that plant is an underground access way that goes, I don't know how far, I think at least across underneath the highway and across the street because that's where the prison was, and that is the plant attached to the old prisons that were there. So that's really why I want to go down there, because it's like the execution walk is what they called it, because they would take the prisoners underground that were going into the execution chamber, and the execution chamber's in that plant. Mm-hmm. So it's like it was kind of weird, mm-hmm. But it's so they wouldn't be seen. Like, that's how they transported the prisoners that were getting executed. Mm-hmm. But that interests me enough to want to go underground. Mm-hmm. But I'm not trying to walk in the sewer system.
I'm really glad that nobody was there when we went to that prison place or whatever.
That plant?
Yes.
No, I think somebody was there. They were just inside.
Like inside, yes, but I'm glad that we didn't encounter anyone outside.
Yeah, no. It gave me a weird vibe.
It did. It was a little off-putting. I'm pretty sure there was like a dead animal out that's there, what I was just thinking and about. I don't want to think about whether or not. Yes. Yeah. I didn't like it.
No. And that's really the only draw for me is that part of it. Now that I've have like a factory under my belt, like I wanted to see the inside because it's very factory-like. Like you can climb and do all the things. You can get up on the roof, and there's that like little smokestacks up there and stuff like that. So I wanted to see it, but not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get chased out by a squatter, especially if they're out here doing animal sacrifices or whatever. I got time.
No.
Got time for that. But my question still to this day, because there was like a full-on mattress that was like catapulted off the building and like just laying in the shrubbery. Yes. And I'm like, how did a mattress get out in the middle of downtown fresh off the interstate? There's no mattress store nearby.
Yeah.
How did a mattress get all the way out to the old prison power plant? I have so many questions about this one mattress. Like, what's going on? How did it get here?
I have questions about why every single bando has a piano in it.
Because they can't be moved.
I understand that. It's expensive
they can,
to move
but they're
them.
so heavy.
But oh my God.
Yeah.
That is the weirdest thing to me. They all have freaking pianos in them.
They do. Now it's gotten to the point where Meredith is so fixated on it, so now every time I'm in a bando and I see a piano, if she's not with me, I'll send her a picture.
Safe word, piano.
That might be confusing. I'm like, yes, I know there's a piano. And you're like, no, piano.
But some of these pianos are like beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like I can't even fathom how stuff like this gets left that no family member's like, oh, I'll take it. How?
I know. It makes me wonder how valuable they actually are also, because when you think about the moving process, like even buying a new one, these are
things though that are like,
they're timeless to me.
Yes.
But just think, like, we saw a piano at the Simon Wingard house.
Yes.
They just bulldozed. They just took a straight bulldozer to that. I
like that piano a lot.
That shit just got demolished, like, along with the house. There's no way
so upsetting.
That's sad.
Yeah.
The same thing will happen.
What's going to happen to Doomsday, the organ? I mean, like, that.
Demolished.
He built that organ into the house.
Yeah. Literally. Like, the wiring for it is in the ductwork.
So that's going to just get destroyed.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I cannot wrap my mind around.
No, me
either. And this is the stuff, if you go exploring, you think about for days. You will think about, it will rack your brain for days to think about all of these things, like we said, sentimental or like priceless pianos that have been in your family. Mm-hmm. How does this stuff...
China.
Yes. Yeah. We've seen like nice china and like
crystal.
How does this stuff get left behind? Like nobody can like take it, or
I know. Well, that's the more fucked up part is like not even we're allowed to take it and we care about it. You know what I mean? Like I would have been salvaged some sewing machines I found. Do you
know how maybe antique shops would come and pick this stuff up? Like that they, like bigger ones?
Oh, yeah.
Like at least do that. At least do that for your family or something.
I just can't imagine letting that amount of money go.
I don't know. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. I think that's the most eye-opening thing about urbexing for me has been, like, especially the houses, obviously, is knowing what people are capable of leaving behind and then wondering why. Because obviously it's not always, like, a choice. Sometimes things happen on an emergency situation.
That we don't know about.
Yeah.
There's layers of stuff that we don't
And,
know
like,
about.
what you hear most often is, like, there could be an elderly person who was the last one in a certain area of their family. So once they have gone into a nursing home or they've passed away and all the other family members live far away or out of state, they don't make it a priority to come, like, check on this house or seal it up or do whatever. They think they have time and then it gets destroyed, whatever the case, is. But it is weird just to see sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because we get to see it and, like, build the story off of it. But it's just really weird to think about, like, what if we died right this minute and then someone just comes and starts, like, frolicking through our shit? That's weird to think about.
Like, I've had to clean up a house after a family member passes, and that's why I'm saying, like, I can't imagine, like,
not doing that.
No, like, not doing that. And like we said, we don't know the circumstances, obviously. Some people don't have anybody to do that stuff for them, but yeah, it's hard to see, like a lot of personal effects and stuff get left like that.
Anyway, we got distracted with the cat. He can't live without us.
I know.
It's amazing to think at one point our cat was a bando.
He was abandoned in NC.
That's true. He's an NC explorer.
He is.
He agrees. Anyways, do you have an explorer's track? You do. You came prepared with one. Do you want to tell everyone?
No.
What? You don't want to tell everyone what you're... Meredith likes to interrupt me. I think that also came up on the first podcast we did together.
What?
That you like to interrupt me.
No.
Yeah. You can say something.
No. This is all getting deleted.
I'm keeping it all in.
No.
This is the best part.
Explorer's track.
Meredith's
Go.
taking over the interview. All right, what's your explorer's track?
So I will say this. I get so many different vibes in different houses. Like, when you're in a bando that is completely boarded up and has no light in it, and it is so, like, weird and haunting... I'm thinking Tom York. I'm thinking, like, Radiohead. Pinback. Spoon. I'm super 2000s and 2010s, like, indie rock and stuff like that. But anyway.
Yeah.
I will go with some Spoon.
Okay. I like it.
Final answer.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Thanks.
Good job. Well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You'll be back next season. We'll have more stories to tell.
I'm sure that we will.
We will. Because we're going to take you to the pharmacy.
Oh my god. Yeah, that pharmacy is cool as shit. Oh, also the clown house. Well, because we didn't get in there.
That's true.
Because I was a bitch. A scared bitch.
No, it was rightfully so. I didn't know, the circumstances. I was told something different, and then that didn't happen when we arrived.
Yeah.
So we spent too much time lollygagging on the outside.
Yeah,
if I knew we should have just beelined it and done what we needed. And then that's a different story.
Yeah.
But, yeah. When you're expecting to just be able to walk in the front door and that
Yeah.
doesn't happen and you're in the middle of a neighborhood, you
Yeah.
don't really want to be. Hell no. I need to go get on the news and see about this dead body found in the freezer
Yeah,
at the
that's
house I think I
freaky.
was at.
That's freaky. And
That's why you don't do fridge pulls, Robert. Robert loves to open a freezer or a fridge. And the story goes that just recently in like Norway, South Carolina, they found a dead body in a freezer on the back porch of an abandoned house that was burned down the next day after they found the dead body. And Robert loves to open a refrigerator or a freezer. And this is why I'm against it. Because I'm like, one of these days you're going to regret it beyond the smell of old food. You know what I mean?
No.
And that's like my worst fear in life.
Well, my worst fear is you and Carrie rolling up to a house that somebody's dumping a dead body out.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the actual house that we rolled up to and there's like music blaring inside. I see. Yeah, that's a solid fear to have.
Yeah.
There was a house that we desperately want to go back to just to see like what's going on, but it's clearly it's 99% sure abandoned. However, it's got power,
electricity,
and it's almost like so blocked, like the doors and windows are so blocked it almost looks like they're trying to keep something in versus out. And as we approach the house, we realize it's like and there's
going on?
yeah, it sounded like a rave was going on. And well, you would know how to get there from Columbia.
Oh my god.
Baby loves the underground now.
No, it's
I'm going to take you to an underground rave one day.
been a while.
It's been a while. That should have been your Explorer's track. Your Explorer's track should have been, ain't nobody got me feeling like I'm feeling you. I'm going to outro with that instead of doing my usual.
No.
Lala Kent. She's the only one relevant on the track. Anyway, people are like, who? Anyways, I'm going to end this now. And thank you again for your time.
Thanks, baby. I love you.
I love you too.
I had fun.
Me too. Thanks for exploring with me, even though it makes you paranoid.
Oh, man.
And that wraps up this very special episode of Echoes of Elsewhere. Huge shout out to my girlfriend for being such a good sport, for sharing her side of the story, and for putting up with all the half-collapsed buildings, many road trips, and questionable adventures I've dragged her through. I hope this